welcome to episode 197 of the Planet Destiny podcast. Today's episode is appropriately named Luna's Yelp. Dan?
Hi.
Dan, great title. Great title,
Thank
bud.
you. I did my best.
Genius.
It didn't take long. It didn't take long to muster.
Oh, and of course, we have our usual table of lovely and handsome and baby hosts with us. For the new guy here, can you tell us who you are, Mr. Babyface?
My name's Dave Finity. I'm Dan Finity's twin brother. I'm the better looking of the two, which is surprising because both of us were slapped when we were born. Outside of that, the only thing I can tell you is that I'm in finance, and generally I don't play Destiny.
Oh, okay. So you're the appropriate person
Just
to have.
filling in today, yeah.
All right, sick. Also, I'm gonna have to disagree that you're the most attractive of the two. I'm gonna go with the other guy, but
Yeah.
whatever. And Aura, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing so good. I am running on tea from this freshly bagged bag.
That freshly
You can see, yeah, time to discard the
What
tea
kind of
bag
tea
here on
is
the
that,
napkin.
though?
This is just regular Lipton. What do you call it? It says inspiration.
Lipton-iced?
It says inspiration in just a sip. So give me a minute. I'll tell you.
Feeling inspired?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I am.
Oh man, going for that Lipton iced tea promotion.
Man, this man is slow bagging his tea so
Slow
early into
bagging.
the show, and then
Use discount code AURA for 0% off your purchase of Lipton.
Slow bag.
0% off.
Take it
Oh,
easy.
man. Hashtag ad. Yeah, seriously. Man, we have quite, not necessarily the week in Destiny, but we got a bit of a tumultuous news in this week's this week at Bungie blog.
I don't know what you're
There was some
talking
drama.
about.
Yeah,
I
there was
don't know
some
what you're
drama.
talking about.
There's well, let me fill you in, person who doesn't play Destiny. That's
Okay.
the least
Dave
handsome brother of
Finity.
of the two Dans.
Let's bring you up to speed.
So I mean, really, the biggest thing this week that's going on is with this week of Bungie. We learned that the Luna's Howl is well, it's going to be yelping a little bit in the near future.
Oof.
So it's getting nerfed.
Yeah.
It's getting quite the change. Honestly, I expected something to happen to the Luna's Howl. I didn't expect them to change its RPM entirely. So for those that don't know, Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten are being changed from a 180 RPM hand cannon to a 150, but they're going to be the only precision frame 150 hand cannons in the game. Now, as far as the actual Magnificent Howl perk, so this is what the devs had to say about that. Magnificent Howl is too effective. It works in a neutral setting and rewards players for getting the precision shots, something that they would have done naturally, which means it's true. As a result, the time to kill of the game shifts to meet this new benchmark, and the players feel that the majority of primary weapons in Destiny 2 cannot compete with these pinnacle weapons. It's not the other weapons' fault. Our current plan is to make Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten the only 150 RPM precision hand cannons. They'll maintain some aspects of their current behavior, so their animation is going to remain the same.
Mhm.
And Magnificent Howl will also be adjusted so that it increases only body shot damage, so resulting in a 2 headshot body shot kill. And Magnificent Howl will still give an advantage due to requiring less precision hits for optimal time to kill.
So, what does this mean for PvE and what does this mean for PvP?
So honestly, all right. Ever since I got the Luna's Howl, I didn't use it as much as other people have because there's other weapons that I prefer having in my energy slot. Aura, you should know what that is.
Aaron Till.
Exactly. So, but I mean, I know that in that the Luna's Howl was a pretty fantastic weapon to have in PvE because of the precision Multiplier, just keep stacking, as long as you're getting those precision shots. But with that changing now to just the new way, which is the 2 headshot 1 body shot kill, it kind of like neuters it in in both PvE and PvP. Because 150 hand cannons already 3-tap in PvP.
Yeah. That's
So
go ahead.
So the Not Forgotten and the Luna's Howl, they're the only 180s that 3-tap in the Crucible, right? Everything else is 4-tap, whether it's a Trust, it's a there's one from the Osiris that people like to use.
The West of Sunfall.
West of Sunfall and the Aikilos Sand Cannon are all 180s as well.
Yeah.
It takes 4 shots of those to kill.
Mm-hmm.
The range on the Aikilos Sand Cannon, if anybody has done their Thorn quest, they realize that you have to be next to somebody for that gun to 4-tap.
Mm-hmm.
So
have to tap them on the shoulder and then plug them.
So they were the only 180s that 3-tapped. Now they're going to be moved to a 150, which is a slower fire rate. They're still going to 3-tap. I don't fully understand. Like, I don't know enough about damage numbers and multipliers and whatnot. I don't pay nearly enough attention to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But this, to me, coming from the PC PvP side of things, seems like it is heavily geared towards console.
Yeah.
Because Luna's Howl is nowhere to be found on PC. It's just non-existent in terms of the sandbox. From my experience, in whoever I'm matching, it's really not there. Not Forgotten's all over the place, but it's a 5,500 glory reward, which also entails completing the Luna's Howl questline. It is not an easy gun to acquire. I don't have one.
Yeah.
So I don't have a problem with that gun standing out in its own spot, being what it's supposed to be. I don't know what it means for the PvE side. Guys, I got to be honest with you. I haven't touched PvE in like 2 months. I haven't done anything but Crucible. I probably look like I've done nothing but Crucible for the past 2 months. But it's like that's all I've done. So my concern with, like, you want to move Luna's Howl, I understand it. It's the lower side of the Pinnacle reward system, but the Luna's Howl quest wasn't a cakewalk either. So why, like, you got this thing that you gave these people that I promise you, no matter what, going through that process, they fought something, whether they fought their opponents, whether they fought themselves, whether they fought the game, they earned it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just super curious as to, and again, maybe this comes from the console side of things, because from what I understand, they're like the only 2 hand cannons that don't have bloom.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they don't have that bloom effect, which I don't, to my knowledge, because again, I'm not too familiar with how bullet magnetism works with the PC side of things and mouse and keyboard, because I've heard mixed things. I've heard some people say that it doesn't exist, and I've heard some people say that bullet magnetism is still a thing.
It looks
just
like
not
it
as
is.
much.
It really does look like it is, whether you're mouse, keyboard, or controller on PC.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. And if anything, what is going to affect this in PC is just probably the more prominent use of Ace of Spades, which is probably the best weapon in the game, no matter where you go.
Is insane. Ace, you're gonna see. I feel like you're gonna start to see a surgence of Thorn.
Yeah. Maybe.
I think Thorn's gonna be a player. I think Last Word is gonna be a player, and more importantly, if you've got a Recluse, what else are you gonna put in your I mean, you run an Ace of Spades and a Recluse after this change happens. Mm-hmm. Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten aren't going to compete with that in their in their slots. So you're changing. You're not changing a hand cannon meta, but you're strongly moving it towards 3 other options. It's what people are complaining about right now isn't going to stop when Luna's and Not Forgotten get this nerf. It's going to be something else that jumps into the slot. So, like, do you bring everything else up to compete, or do you knock these 2 weapons that are, god damn it, they're so hard to acquire? Like, there's a lot of patience that goes into it. There's a lot of players who are not great PvP players who found a way to fight and get a Luna's Howl. And you're taking that. We're not talking about like 15 minutes worth of quest line.
Yeah.
This could be an entire season's worth of work to acquire this weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I feel for everybody out there who has one and is really upset about this.
I feel
you
for the
because I feel like
people
you worked it.
for the people who paid for them.
Well,
I don't feel for them at all.
I don't feel for them at all.
I'm sorry. I don't feel for them at all.
Oh man.
So James Work had an interesting tweet after all this. He said, I believe it was something along the lines of like, controversial thought. What if we had these pinnacle weapons come up? They're around for a couple of seasons where they're one of the biggest.
You said
things.
a season. It was unpopular opinion. Maybe the meta should change with each season.
Yeah.
Maybe the weapon should only be the top tier for that season and that season only.
Mm-hmm.
It's great if you've got a weapons team that's putting out weapons every single season that knocks it out of the park, but that's not a thing in our current version of Destiny. Unfortunate reality is that Midnight Coup, which was one of the first weapons that we got, is still a really good PvE. So the unfortunate reality of a situation like that is that they're just not good enough every single season that we get them. I get where he's coming from, and I think if we were cranking out weapons and pinnacle rewards, like the oxygen is really fun.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not a weapon that you're going to pull out and be like, this is my go-to weapon for everything that I do. The loaded question is really fun. Probably not a weapon you're going to pull out and be like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
And Mountaintop, I think, is top of the tree for damage in Gambit right now.
Yeah, if you slap
one of the top weapons.
Boss spec on there, it can be pretty good. I don't know. I feel like this change definitely is not. I don't think it was the appropriate thing to change around these weapons, because again, it feels like it's something that's geared more towards the console player base. Because in PC land, the Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten get outdone by Ace of Spades by like quite a mile away.
Yeah.
The Ace has a ridiculous range.
Ace is a scout rifle, man. That thing,
dude. It's honestly like, I like to compare the Ace of Spades with like the buffed Thorn in Year One Destiny.
It's a strong weapon,
because it's strong. Like
strong?
dude. Like
you get a kill, you get that perk, and that perk doesn't go away.
Yeah,
you have kill clip or rampage for as long as you hold that magazine, right? If you reload it, does it even go away if you reload?
Reload on the kill. Reloading activates it, if anything. So as long as you're getting a kill, and you reload, you'll refresh the Memento Mori,
which is just an insane perk. So the Ace is, and all that's going to happen. Listen, I'm a controller player who plays on PC. Hate me.
Same.
The Ace of Spades is pretty hard to control on a controller, so I feel for a lot of my console players out there who say they're a bit harder to use. Like the thing about the Luna's Howl and the Not Forgotten that's always been impressive to me is the fact that it's almost like jarring how much it doesn't move when you fire it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the animation is so minimal, the recoil pattern is so minimal. I'm out here maining a Duke right now with as many stability perks as I possibly can put on it to keep it in line.
And it's going all the way over here.
Right. So I switched to a Luna's Howl for like 5 minutes the other day in Iron Banner or something just to lower my power level. And I fired a bullet of it. It didn't move. I was like, what? Like, how do... So I overcorrected for it a significant amount because it didn't move. The Ace of Spades does not perform that way. Neither does the Last Word, for that matter, on controller. The only thing that might come close to it, and I just haven't really used it much, is a Thorn. I don't know what that feels like because I deleted it as soon as I got it. Sorry, Bungie.
No, and see, even at that, Thorn doesn't stand a chance against the Ace of Spades either, because the range on the Thorn is nowhere near the same. And in order to get the Thorn really going and playing how I believe it should be playing all the time, is when you get the little soul remnant thing that pops up. And in PvP, it's hard to keep up, because the soul, you have to run towards the soul.
You have to put yourself in harm's way to get killed with a rampage on a Thorn.
Yeah.
Whereas my Duke has outlaw rampage on it.
Oh yeah.
As soon as I get a kill, I'm two-tapping people without having to put myself in harm's way. And again, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3-4 weeks ago. And it was like, yeah, but it's a 110, it fires super slow. I mean, the person dying and getting two-tapped doesn't give a shit what my fire rate is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I don't have to put myself in harm's way to get it. So yeah, I'm firing at a slower rate, but the advantage is still in my favor compared to a weapon like Thorn, where you actually have to put yourself into a lane in most cases to get that perk. So maybe I don't know. Maybe eventually we see a change to Thorn to bring it up a little bit. I'm concerned because what does this say for the rest of the sandbox?
Right.
Oh, they're going to hit the Recluse next.
The PvE community will lose their mind because that's one of the strongest PvE weapons we've ever seen.
Dude, it hasn't left my special in PvE ever since I got the Recluse. It's just unbelievably strong.
It's easier to get than the Luna's Howl. By the way, it's way easier. The double the point system for wins gets you there super quicker. There's absolutely no quest for it, right? It's like 60 wins.
I can't remember the amount of
60 quick play wins and a little bit less wins in comp, I believe.
Oh yeah, I knocked that out without even trying.
It's not 200 Iron Banner kills? What even?
No, you gotta
it might be.
For what?
I don't know.
I was making an emblem joke. Go ahead.
Oh god.
Oh, that's 2,500.
We could talk about that as we
we'll get into that soon.
We'll get back to that real quick.
Yeah, I think that these changes, I don't know, man, they're too harsh, and it's not the first time that we've seen Bungie really just kind of like do a drastic change, because they did the same thing with Nova Warp, where that just got deleted out of any type of existence or usability in the game.
It seems like last year when it was like the speed. When it was the Go Fast update, they were like, maybe we swung a little bit too hard in the past. Instead, we're going to bring things up instead of hammering them down. It feels like that philosophy has really changed recently.
Oh, it has. a lot. A lot.
Especially within the last 6 months.
Well, I don't know how you bring things up to compete with Spectral Blades, first and foremost. I just don't know what you do. To bring everything up to a level that would compete with that without having Nova Warp back the way that it was when it first started. Honestly, Titans are in a pretty decent spot right now. There really isn't I think the only super I see more than Spectral Blades is a Void Titan, because when you throw that shield, it's smarter than any human who exists, and it just bounces everywhere and follows your every waking movement. So that's a pretty strong one right now too. You see a handful of Stormcallers here and there, but I don't know what you would do to bring everything up to a certain point. So I feel like there are situations where a nerf is in order, but this one, I don't know where it came from, because I don't recall seeing a lot of talk of Luna's Howl or Not Forgotten being so incredibly strong. So this just maybe I'm just disconnected from everybody. I don't read Reddit. I hadn't seen a lot of posts on Twitter about it.
I think one of the and I feel like this is just probably something that contributed to that change, but the current state of quick play as well. So
being the fact that it's insanely sweaty.
Yeah,
exactly. And I know that people are gonna hate this particular term, but there's no skill-based matchmaking at all whatsoever in quick play. So you're gonna land in with possibly teams that are going in there with these pinnacle weapons, and let's say that a good majority of the player base doesn't really have the time or a particular skill to acquire the Luna or a Not Forgotten. So you see a lot of that. And honestly, the player base right now, like on PC, for the most part, have at least the Lunas. So for the people that don't are getting kind of just steamrolled over this, and it probably highlights how strong these weapons are.
The state of quick play on PC, I don't know what matchmaking it is. Because it can't, if it's connectivity, if it's connection-based matchmaking, and I'm playing with people in France and Germany and wherever in Asia, there's nobody. I live in the Philadelphia area. There's nobody closer, and there's not, 11 other people?
Yeah.
Anywhere closer than that at that time in the playlist? So the other thing is, it feels like this is just how it's felt recently. It feels like they've implemented some form of elo-based, skill-based matchmaking in the game, in the lobby itself, once your lobby has been made, where if I'm with 2 other players who are really good, I'm going to get 3 players who are trying to find their way as my teammates, versus a team of 6 players that might be average plus, and it turns into a really, really sweaty match just in and of that. Now, I haven't been able to go and crunch ELO numbers and see if the averages average out per team, but lately, if I'm running with anybody on my team, we are having teammates that are, I mean, we played a game against people who had unbroken titles. We had 3 people who were below level 100 on our team.
Sheesh.
Like, that is throwing people to the wolves. So there must be something that goes on within it, but I don't know. Quick play on PC right now. There's no incentive to do it.
Yeah.
Right? So that's part of the reason too. So if you've got a bunch of people who only really enjoy playing PvP, and most people who really enjoy playing PvP are really good, that's going to be all your matchmaking is. I'm just going to play really good players all day, because the average player who's trying to learn how to play the game, it has no reason to go into the lobby other than your 5 games for your rewards. If you're still trying to gain power level this late in the season,
Yeah,
I don't know how much of that really goes on, right? So,
no, and I mean, I think I definitely think that's one of the major things that contributed towards them changing the Luna's Howl to a 150 and the Magnificent Howl being able to 2-tap somebody. But I mean, I don't know, man. We had that in Destiny 1 with Hawkmoon, and I feel like it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't exotic, but I feel like that it wasn't that much of an issue back then.
Yeah.
And I mean, if anything, this is going to highlight Ace and Recluse more.
Yeah.
Because again, as Aura mentioned, it's incredibly easier to get the Recluse.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that the Recluse is stronger than a Luna's Howl. I don't know about
easily. Even not perked, I feel like it'll compete, if not
it's strong. Like, again, it's just one of those weapons where it's fantastic everywhere. And with the Master of Arms, the Universal Rampage that it has on it.
Mm-hmm.
If that perk's active, it's a light machine gun. It beats everything in the game.
It's so silly how fast you can get kills with it.
So what you're saying is I should do that this week when I'm not running anything else?
Yeah, get it now before it eventually gets brought down to level as well, because it's gonna happen. I have a feeling it's gonna happen at some point where they will probably like introduce a cooldown to the Master of Arms perk or something, because it's just incredibly strong. Because you can once you get it going, like you can just keep feeding the Recluse. And you can keep that going. And if you're on mouse on PC, that thing is a laser beam.
It doesn't move.
It's so strong.
No SMG does. Any SMG on the planet stays about as still as can be with a mouse and keyboard versus a controller. Part of the reason why I don't use them is because they're pretty hard for me to control on a controller. You know,
I use it on with a controller, and I think, I don't know, I have a relatively easy time to do it because I just do it in short bursts, because I don't need to spam it. But I have a feeling that's probably going to be taking a look at next, because
it's what I was using during the Verdant Forest runs. I never had to do anything other than it. I mean, you could even pair that with a Huckleberry and forget it. You'll just But
so yeah, I don't know. I think this change might just highlight other things, and we may see that get brought down to level at some point as well. So personally, not a big fan, and this change is going to be coming with Season of Opulence.
Yeah.
So
not necessarily.
Enjoy it the next
I'm
month.
just kind of upset about like the cascade that could come from that.
Yeah.
But
and see, I don't know. I feel like one of the issues with those weapons, it was that they were introduced in a time where the time to kill was much slower, and I feel like Luna's Howl and Not Forgotten were probably remedies to combat that.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
They came out of Forsaken?
I believe so.
Did they come out? Well, yeah, because Broadsword was prior.
Yeah.
It was the Claymore, which was the first season.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then it changed over to
Broadsword came out the following, which was the same exact gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just available through a longer quest line. And then the following, I think it was Warmind, I think it was Forsaken, gave us Luna's Howl, Not Forgotten. Then we got, I forget what we ended up getting.
Mountaintop
was this season, right? Or
last season.
Last season.
Recluse was this season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mountaintop, another headache.
This next season, we're gonna get a fusion rifle that's gonna rival Aura's roll on his.
There's not a single thing on the planet that's going to touch until they make changes to the perks on my fusion rifle. Nothing's going to touch it. I'm sorry, Fallout Plays. I know you did your research. I know you did your numbers. I got a video I need you to watch. Winky face. So let me. If Season of Opulence brings a new round of pinnacle weapons at a comp, that make us forget Luna's Howl not forgotten even exist, and this conversation becomes a moot point. So I think part of us needs to understand the fact that this is happening. We probably aren't really happy with it. We're probably pretty uncomfortable with it, but the Recluse is really good. I'd argue it's better than the 2 other weapons in that spot. Yeah. And we have another pinnacle. I would assume we're going to get another pinnacle weapon with the new season that comes, and maybe it's going to be something else that's bonkers. Maybe it'll be a scout rifle that actually.
It's a sword.
Yeah, a scout rifle sword that shoots. It's a scout rifle that shoots sword blades. That's what it'll be. It'll be great.
Wonderful.
It'll be Boltcaster.
I would love Boltcaster, man. I miss Boltcaster.
I remember. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say Boltcaster was this weapon that when somebody used it on you and you saw the blades flying at you, and they hit, but they might not hit you directly, you thought you were cool. You're like, dude, I made it. I lived. And like a second later, your body explodes. You're like, shit. Like it was the bearer of hope, right? If you were against it, you had this minute, oh man. And then your dreams just got crushed by it. And that's part of the reason why it's kind of similar to what the Void fusion rifle. The one that with the projectiles that sticks. Oh my god, I can't.
Telesto.
That's it. It kind of reminds you of Telesto, where they shoot it, and for a second you don't think any of them hit you, and then you just explode. The Boltcaster was that version, but with a sword, man. Just what a great weapon.
That was good. Yeah, I don't know what they'll do as a pinnacle weapon next season. I mean, I remember looking at the trailer and seeing the Recluse, and I just kind of sat there and I'm like, an SMG.
We all did. We made fun of it.
For pinnacle weapon?
Every single one of us made fun of that weapon.
Yeah.
Everybody. Carolina Gamer 99 included.
Yeah.
Everybody made fun of that when they first heard it. We had no clue what was coming.
Yeah, no, that thing was gnarly, dude. But anyways, aside from that, we have Iron Banner this week. Running with the Revelry in tandem. I've spent some time in there. I can assure you that skip grenades have been the least of my worries.
Okay.
For Iron Banner, I think the thing that I've seen being used a lot, and I gave it a shot. Because I wanted to see how effective this was hunters running top tree Night Stalker with Gemini Jesters, and I hate it. Because how much they can spam it with, and I ended up using it myself, and it's pretty gnarly, dude. Just constant invisibility and being able to take people's away's radar.
Yeah,
gross. Slap on a mountaintop and a Recluse with it. It's disgusting. Like, I consider myself a pretty shitty hunter, especially in PvP. And I was like, all right, let's give it a shot. Let's see what the fuss is all about. No, dude, it's nasty.
Yeah.
Like just getting that one kill with the mountaintop, just right close, and then activating the Recluse and just going to town with the rest of the people that are trying to control like zones. It's gross. Can't wait till it's gone.
So Iron Banner, which is an objective-based game mode that requires you to stand still on the objective, and rewards more of your teammates. The more teammates you have standing with you on that objective, the faster you capture it, therefore rewarding you for that behavior.
Yeah.
Anything that makes you stand still and an ability spam version of the game is awful. Arc Web. I have seen so many clips on Twitter of somebody wiping an entire team because they're capping a point and somebody throws one grenade, kills the entire team. So many of these clips. Skip grenades are manageable, but the problem is that they will chase you down and they delay recovery, leaving you exposed. So you run around the entire game, you're one shot. for the duration of the game. The Gemini Jester's Invis thing also, what I saw a lot of was just Invis Hunter with Wormhusk and just healing. Just healing everywhere, never taking damage, always being recovering health. It's been it's been a really awful experience for the PvP purists. It has been atrocious.
Even people like Cammy Cakes and True Vanguard are just done with PvP until the Revelry leaves.
Yeah,
because it's just so obnoxious.
In quick play, it really 1 or 2 games a day. I'll fly in and they'll just be like grenade after grenade after grenade after grenade after grenade, and then the Titan abilities with the walls, and then like a lot of people using what TBL was talking about with the buff for damage with the warlocks and stuff like that. So every once in a while, but Iron Banner was incessant.
Yeah,
because that's what everybody's playing, right?
It didn't stop, and like if you can't beat them, join them. But for me, that's not fun.
Yeah, because you're not playing the way you want to play. You have to do what everybody else is doing.
Anybody can stand still and throw a grenade that will hunt you down for minutes on end. Anybody can do that.
This guy,
and maybe that's giving somebody an opportunity to enjoy PvP that didn't normally do it. And and while I despise them, I'm glad that they're having fun in that environment, because that's the important thing. But my God, am I going to bitch about it?
So I went in with my Titan today. My Titan is severely underleveled. So thank you very much for the buff that you can get that raises you 100 levels.
The Wolf's Favor.
Yeah, I put the Armamentarium on, and the one that gives you dual grenades, and just ran suppressors.
Armamentarium, yeah.
The Armamentarium, sorry. But I just ran suppressors the entire time. Just Jordan is great. It's hilarious. But I was still super underleveled, so I died a lot. Anyways, I enjoy Mayhem quite a bit, and we talked about this last week. But yeah, it's the Revelry is kind of starting to wear on me. it's overstayed its welcome, I think.
It's really good in PvE. It's really fun. It's made for some incredible moments for a lot of the community. It really has brought a lot of really cool things to the forefront, like using Caffrey Sting and killing the first encounter in Last Wish. That's it. I call it Khalil Mack. But and then like the trip mine grenade on that was Carolina Gamers trip mine covered Sparrow. Like these are all incredible endeavors, but that moment that creates these really fun occasions doesn't happen in PvP. And the first time somebody threw an arc web grenade and killed an entire team, I was like, well, that was really cool. And then from then on, they were like, I hate this.
Yeah,
it's a level playing field of just everyone hating.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, as somebody who's like who runs mostly like PvE stuff and Gambit, I will say that I'm gonna miss the Revelry when it's gone.
Yeah,
I know that for Crucible, it's an absolute nightmare and it should not be there anymore. But I'm gonna miss the crap out of my grenades coming back. Dude. Like I don't even know how I'm gonna play the game. Like when the tonics run out currently, and my grenades stop regenning like immediately, I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Where's my grenade? Or like with my Titan, where's my melee? I've actually been having a lot of fun with the Titans with Ashen Wakes.
Okay.
So good, especially when the modifiers are Grenadier. Yeah. It turns those fusion nades into like fucking mini missiles, dude. It's amazing. I've actually managed to complete the tier 3 Reckoning bridge encounter the old-fashioned way, where you go through the whole bridge section with nobody using supers. And it was I waited for it to be Grenadier. It doesn't the detrimental modifier doesn't really matter. The setup that we had, all you really need is a Warlock that has the healing grenades, and as long as that dude is just spamming the divine blessings, you're fine. Because if you have the Titan with the Ashen Wakes and the Fusion nades, you can kill one of the mini bosses in like 3 grenades. And your grenades are coming back immediately. So as long as everybody's just chucking every single grenade possible, you can complete that bridge encounter without ever firing your gun.
Oh my god.
It's so silly. It's so fun. So if you haven't done that, do that before the Revelry is gone. Because it's honestly, it's at its easiest right now.
Okay.
When does it conclude? Is it reset?
It's next. So we have one more
We have
week.
another week of this?
We have one more week.
Yeah.
Ouch.
One more week of the Revelry.
2 weeks, I feel... 2 weeks, I feel everybody would have been like, that was fun, but I'm glad it's over. now it's like 3 weeks. It's like having extended family.
I feel like it's a good thing that Bungie is kind of experimenting. I questioned who play tested it in the Crucible and felt like they're gonna love this. Like the PvP diehards are they're gonna love this, you know, having 80 trip mines on the map where the point where you can't even move or skip after skip after skip, which like just the sound of them alone is annoying enough.
Yeah.
Just hearing them once is like, but like constantly hearing that, you know, I just maybe they just said we don't care.
Yeah.
It's a free event, right?
Free event.
We didn't pay anything for it. We also didn't ask for it.
We also didn't know what it was until a week before.
So it's like,
yeah, it's something, man.
Yeah, it's
I mean, what else can you do as a creator to try and shake up a sandbox so quickly? Like that's really all you can do, other than, you know, we talk about trying to bring back old strike modifiers and stuff like that, and maybe making them active in all engagements in PvE, where it's like, you know, I don't know. It'd be cool for the PvP side of things if they could separate it. I don't know how much button pushing in the back end, but there's certain things that you could borrow from the Halo days, like having a Destiny like Team SWAT. You know what I mean? Like a no shields, everybody has no shields, one shot kind of thing might be relatively interesting, depending on any kind of weapon restrictions that may or may not apply. But like, there's certain things you can do where you can still kind of shake up the sandbox, but not tilted in the way of.
Dude, I and again, I'm no developer, so I don't know how hard it potentially could be, but just have the daybreak modifier in like the PvE stuff, like in the daily heroic adventures or the strikes, or make it an option for the nightfall, and add modifiers to like the raids. Like that would have been something interesting, but and you know, and if you wanted to go and break Crucible as well, just have mayhem for like the next 3 weeks and in Crucible. That way you're not exposing people to this ridiculous tonic like overuse of grenade spams and
getting drunk on power, literally.
Yeah, dude, sipping on that tonic, dude.
I stopped using it ahead of time. This way I wasn't in a situation where I'd be like relying on certain abilities to proc. Like I was using it just because I really didn't like it. I was using it on smoke grenades on melee for my hunter.
Yeah.
So I was getting a smoke grenade every 3 seconds or whatnot. And even now, like even after only doing that for a week, I'm like, oh, where's my smoke grenade? Oh, I got another like 30 seconds. Like what? But just to make sure that I was ready for when it did go away.
Dude, I'm gonna suffer. I'm gonna be sitting here behind my desk like, I need my tonics, man.
There's so much talk of players who are gaining glory rank over it because of grenade spam, gaining 2-3K.
Yeah.
And where they'll end up once it goes away, if they were heavily relying on and only could rely on the abilities to get them anywhere. And it's if you get to 5,500 and you get You're Not Forgotten, then who the hell cares? You'll never play comp ever again if that's you know, but or if you're hunting unbroken, that's all you need. Yeah, but like if you get to like 52 and it goes away and you just somehow tank, you know, that could man.
This would be rough.
That's a long way to go.
Yeah. I don't know.
Speaking
How about that Iron Burden?
Yeah, speaking of Iron Banner, who's going for that casual sip aura? I approve.
Of that tea,
That
that
tea.
slow bag.
So who's honestly who's been going for that? Chat, you can tell me as well here if you guys have been going for the Iron Burden.
I spent one day doing it.
Same.
I made it to 200 something plus
Mm-hmm.
in the Revelry.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I can't do this. I hate myself. I hate everything about it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to put me or my community through it. The amount of fun I was not having between connections, because the player pool is so small, between connections being what they are with Iron Banner, having damage calculators going on, to the ability spamming, to being one shot by anything. So the whole point of the Iron Burden is to be like, oh, I need to be a smarter player in how I pick and choose my engagements. Well, skip grenades don't give a flying you-know-what as to how you pick and choose your engagements, because they're going to make that engagement for you. And when there's 30 of them coming at you every time, you can't do any... It does not matter how good you are. You can even run your Shade Step and Worm Husk and spam it, and you're still going to take more damage than you recover over the course of people using those grenades over and over and over again. It is incredibly painful. And a lot of my friends put up with it, and I mean, we're talking hours in it. I did it for 6 hours on whatever day I did it for. A normal 6 hour playing session for me is probably going to be around like 300 to 400 or 500 kills, somewhere in that vicinity. I didn't even get past 200 in the Iron Banner, Iron Burden Revelry situation. Like, because it doesn't count assists, it only counts eliminations.
Right.
Yeah.
Not for you.
No, it made doing it last time seem like a cakewalk.
Yeah.
Like an absolute cakewalk doing it before the Revelry was out. And again, it goes back to rewarding people for standing still when there are grenades that will move for you. Like, it all goes back to that.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go for it. I went in, I got the burden, I did one match.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not subjecting myself to 2,500. I mean, I'm not even 2,500, 2,000, because I already have like 500 from getting the Rebu beforehand. Yeah. So I was like, no. You know what I'll do? I'll go instead full powered with infinite handheld supernovas, and I will make it difficult for everybody else.
I hate you. Oh, I hate you so much.
It's okay, buddy. I love you too.
The only thing worse than skip grenades are handheld supernovas. The amount of the people hold forward with that hard in any shotgun I've ever seen in my life. That damn grenade. But I don't know, man. Like, the other thing about it was that the best players I'd ever seen weren't using the Iron Burden.
Right.
They were going in at 600 or 700 and finding the people who were using the burden and just shiitake mushrooming all over them. Just full teams of 6 at full power level, finding anybody they possibly could who was using the burden and just farming, pinning you into your spawn. And like, so I think the other aspect, and this was only my experience, the whole N of 1, but it almost seemed like the people that it was geared to were the people who were using it least.
Yeah.
Did you do it, Dan? Did you do it?
I tried it the first day for like a few hours, and then I was like, I looked at my progress, was like, it's a cool looking emblem. I'm probably never going to get it. And that's fine, because I have the shattered throne emblem for doing it solo. Only emblem I ever need. I don't have anything to, like, I do not have the PvP acumen or the, like, anything along those lines to want the clout that comes along with that much punishment.
That's understandable. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of just wanted it for collection's sake. Just to say, hey, I have that. That's there. I'm probably never going to use it because I'm not taking off my movie of the week emblem for it. So
and like
I'm currently rocking the wing of the crow variant for the Tangled Shore. And like you get it by doing regular bounties on the Tangled Shore, and it took me like a week and a half to get it. So like that was one of the hardest grinds I've ever actually had in terms of RNG based for an emblem.
Yeah.
And it is a meaning. It shows you how many barons you've killed or something like that. So my number's at like 74, but that's been my emblem that hasn't come up. The other thing that sucks about it though is if you inspect the character and look at it, it doesn't actually say Wing of the Crow. It says whatever the base name of the emblem is, which if it's a variant, show me my variant. Do show people this thing. A lot of people don't have it.
Yeah.
I don't have moment of the week yet, so
I don't know. I feel like if it was like a super badass gun, worth,
Yeah.
For an emblem, I don't have the time of day for it.
Yeah, for sure. I'm
same
right
thing with
there.
Niobe Labs,
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing with that. Like it's probably one of the hardest things to do in the game. Mm-hmm. And you get an emblem and a ghost.
You get an emblem
for
and
your
a ghost.
Efforts.
Neat.
There's not enough ghosts in this game, so like,
Yeah.
Dude, I
get for farting as a guardian. Oh, here's your ghost shell.
I have that ghost shell that makes the ghost look super sad, and I love that thing. I'd rock that over the Niobe ghost any day. The one that has like the long things off on the side.
I don't know what my ghost looks like. I have no idea what my ghost looks like. The more that we get these cosmetic items thrown at us, the less I really care what they actually look like.
Yeah.
And there's just everything you do. There's 10 ghost shells that drop, unless you're trying to get and I'm not talking about specific ones to obviously the raid and the Shattered Throne are completely separate issues from this, but with Revelry, with any season change, there comes a plethora of sparrows and ghost shells that to the point where I've just stopped caring about it. Like they've fed me so much that I'm not hungry for it anymore.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But I don't know.
And even maybe emblems too, honestly. Like
I'm surprised
people go ahead.
I'm surprised that animated emblems aren't a thing yet.
I can imagine them on my PS4 and helping to make
loading really slow and like dropping frames as they do it.
Yeah. And my PS4 just sounds like
yeah. All the emblems and the fan motor going ballistic. Yeah.
Like
man.
I can picture that immediately. I don't know. I feel like there are only a few emblems here and there that I actually like really care about. The Shattered Throne emblem was one because that was tied to something that we did.
Really hard challenge.
Yeah. The guided games one. I really liked the guided games.
They're really good looking.
They're so good looking. And it's just a shame that like that's the only incentive for the guided games program is the emblem. I don't know. Take out like 90% of the emblems and the ghosts and everything else and make those guns and you have a nice formula.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's an emblem you wear that shit proud, dude. Soloing the Shattered Throne is incredibly difficult.
Haven't taken it off. It is.
I've taken it off. I'll tell you, my 40 for 40 unique sleeper nodes is a pretty good one.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Whenever I see somebody in Crucible, I message them like, dude, you have. The one person I messaged didn't even realize that you could get them to spawn in different locations by opening them in an opposite location. So that person, whoever you are, like they brute forced their 40 nodes.
Yeah.
That. Good Lord. I also have 69 ghost scans on EDZ, so my emblem says 69. I also have, and this was not on purpose.
This fucking guy.
When Crimson Doubles came out, I played it for one day, played it with Wise. I got 69 kills in Crimson Doubles, so I have another emblem that has the number 69 associated with it. Just saying.
Yeah. Come on, you gotta go for 420. gotta go for 420.
Well, now that my Baron emblem is at 74, I have to go for 420 on my Wing of the Crow emblem. But let me tell you how I feel about doing anything PvE related right now and for the past 2 months. I am a ship away from Cursebreaker, and I want Cursebreaker, but not enough for me to go do Shattered Throne this week.
Yeah,
fair.
I am so overcooked with PvE content and the lack thereof meaningful stuff, and I have nothing. I mean, I haven't had meaningful PvE stuff to do for a season or more, honestly.
Yeah.
With Forges being what they were.
Yeah, that's fair.
My feelings for Scourge of the Past. I haven't had PvE stuff that I was passionate about since Forsaken came out. So I'm really, really, really hoping that Season of Opulence gives me a reason to step out of the Crucible, because look at me. Look at me.
Look into his eyes.
Look at this.
Yeah, we need a reason to stop Aura from bullying people with an air intel.
I'm not bullying. I wave goodbye to everybody like a very polite.
That is straight up cyberbullying, Aura.
What are you talking about? I'm waving when people go on a voyage. And listen, when you fusion rifle somebody, I don't know what happens to their body. They just they evaporate into matter. So they're going on a journey somewhere. So when I fusion rifle somebody and they're going on their journey, I am just wishing them farewell. I'm at the dock. There's the Titanic leaving, and I'm saying goodbye. That's what happened. You know?
Titanic.
Fair.
Wow.
Speaking of Shattered Throne, on the 29th, which is, if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow,
Monday the 29th,
we are getting a Shattered Throne ride-along.
I can't wait for that.
I'm stoked for it. It's gonna be so good. So it's gonna be, I want to say, with Brendan Thorne is gonna be on there. He's one of the raid leads, talking about how the Shattered Throne came to be and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to that, man. I love those ride-alongs.
My favorite Destiny 2 experience by far is Shattered Throne, especially doing it solo. That is, I'll have 100,000 Erentil kills in Crucible, and nothing will compare to my feelings going through Shattered Throne. It actually brings me back to Vault of Glass days, because I was in there launch day, the day that it came out. I was up in there. We made it to Vorgith, and we didn't realize how any of it worked, because we were all like 550 power level and getting one shot by everything.
Yeah,
we got that far, and I was like, this is just so, between the animations and the colors and the lack thereof, masterpiece.
Yeah,
absolute masterpiece.
It's definitely by far one of the best contents that we've seen for Destiny 2, and hopefully we might get news if they're going to continue, with that kind of content moving forward. Because like you mentioned, that definitely kind of brings up a feeling of kind of like what Vault of Glass brought, because it's mysterious. You don't, this kind of came into the game and wasn't one of those things where they announce that, go find it or anything. It was just there.
Yeah.
So
the secret bosses in that are pretty great too.
Yeah, how they tied Wish Under to it.
Yeah.
There was some of the most unique encounters that we've ever seen. Like a maze that you have to unlock a door, a combination to enter, from that to like this super cathedral, almost church-like feeling as you're walking through some of the stuff with the pillars and the porcelain floors and the vases everywhere and whatnot. And just as it correlates to Vault of Glass with just like the wide expanse, like it is a huge area. It is massive.
It's
so
huge.
I don't know. Like, everything about it scream what makes Destiny so magical. Like, and I'm a PvP guy. I'm a PvP person. I've embraced it. Shattered Throne, masterpiece. Love it. Want more of it.
100 more, please.
Yeah, I honestly thought that we were gonna get something like that with Black Armory. I thought that's what Project Niobe was. Well,
I think it. I mean, Niobe Labs is a 3-player person activity, so in a way, we kind of did.
It's not a dungeon though.
No, not even close. But they gave us a 3-person raid-esque encounter experience kind of thing. It's easier to get two other people together to do something, and it's really nice that Bungie planned on people being soloing it and giving a reward to those who do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know, with soloing, however you do it, with soloing Atheon, with soloing was it Axis Prime, whatever. You know,
Yeah.
we've always had these players who were unbelievable and did these solo endeavors, and Bungie latched onto that, identified it, saw it, and was like, let's make it so that we know people are going to solo it and give them something for doing it.
Yeah.
Boop, Triumph, Emblem.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
More stuff like that would be super helpful.
Yeah. So that's going to be a little bit later in the afternoon. It's not in the normal time range that
1:30 PST, is that what I saw?
2:30.
2:30.
2:30
Okay.
Pacific. So yeah, it's a little bit strange because normally they have these things like a little bit earlier in the morning.
It's like 10 PST.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, while I'm at work, yeah.
Yeah, it's usually like 10 or 11. But so yeah, 2:30 tomorrow. Keep an eye out on the twitch.tv/Bungie page for the Shattered Throne ride along. And on a semi-final note, before we move on to chat questions, we saw 2 more Bungie employees take leave.
Yep.
So Jill Shar, which she was a writer for Destiny, not exactly sure to what extent, you know, she had a hand on writing, because I'm assuming writers just work a little bit everywhere.
Yeah. She was one of the big names, though. She was like pretty prevalent.
Wasn't she on one of the videos talking about? I feel like at some point she might have been on one of the podcasts that they had done.
She was on one of the raid-alongs.
Something like that, right? I feel like I've heard the name before, and I don't pay much attention to the staff at Bungie. No offense, it's just.
I want to say that she has a connection to the Focus Fire chat a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There. But yeah, so she was kind of like one of the big narrative.
Well, she did take to Twitter to clear up, because some websites were saying that you know, she was a narrative lead.
Yeah.
But she took to Twitter and she said, "For the record, I was never a narrative lead at Bungie. Her title on Destiny 2 and Forsaken was just writer. She got promoted to senior writer after Forsaken had shipped."
Yeah.
But the other big name that we are unfortunately seeing leave is Joe Blackburn, which is one of the senior raid leads in Bungie, which is a shame because he's brought a lot of cool boss encounters to the game. If I'm remembering this correctly, he created the Golgoroth encounter
Hence
in
his name,
King's
Joe
Fall.
Garoth.
Yeah, his Twitter handle is Joe Garoth. But yeah, man, that's 2 more onto the previous 3 that have left.
Yeah. So you have Claude, Wisniewski, and Hamrick.
And Hamrick. Yep.
Who all left.
So, all right. Do you guys think it's a good thing?
So, seeing a lot of people have conspiracy theories ever since Hamrick left. And
yeah.
Especially since, like, and Hamrick kind of, like, exposes, he's like, yeah, dude, sometimes you just get tired, like, after doing something for 10 years.
Yeah.
It's like, I've been in libraries for 15 years. I'm kind of sick of doing that. You know? Like, it's, whatever it is, you need a break from it. Or maybe there's something else you want to work on. Or, you know, they have an opportunity to build their career in some other fashion.
Yeah. So
and
Joe Blackburn did clear the airs to say that he got an opportunity down here in Santa Monica.
Okay. Cool.
So he's either, and there's a couple studios down here in Santa Monica. I know that Treyarch is down here, and I know that obviously Santa Monica Studios is here as well. So it's exciting because if he goes into like Santa Monica Studios and if they're working on another God of War, can you imagine the top tier design that they might have with Blackburn in their team. That's exciting as hell.
As long as they're promoting from the inside, like, because these are big names, but they're not. They're people that work there that we know their names. There's a bunch of people that work at Bungie that we don't know their names, that we don't necessarily know what they do, but like, it gives us opportunity to meet new people, and to cheer them on while also cheering on the names that we remember. It's also a thing where it's just like, I don't know, just honestly, there's stuff on D2's done too. There's stuff on D2's done, and they're moving, like, it's a cutoff point for, like, okay, D3 is coming.
Yeah. And honestly, like, the way at least I've taken all of these different changes and people leaving, sometimes it's necessary to have a fresh pair of eyes take over, and who knows, whoever comes in could bring something amazing that other people couldn't.
Yeah.
So when I look, and this isn't a knock on anybody who's designed anything, because I can't design a cup of coffee.
I saw
when you look at Golgoroth,
it was a tea.
When you go to Golgoroth and you see the encounter, and you've got the 6 orbs that could drop in and drop a pool for damage phase, and the entire encounter you really get by only using 1. To me, you've kind of missed on that. To me, Golgoroth wasn't one of the premier encounters in King's Fall. While it was something I'd never seen before, and you got to have a buff to do damage, you got to get close to the boss. That was kind of neat. It looked like when you walked into that room that there was more options than what seemed to be the most fruitful.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
For me, what made King's Fall was Oryx and the Sisters encounters.
Yeah,
was what was like, holy crap, man.
Yeah.
I mean, a dick ball is never a bad idea, but
no, clearly, because that's still going on in Destiny 2.
But
Aura's house.
hey, but I'm of the strong opinion that we've seen the maximized talent of what they could do with it, and I feel like the appetite of the community is insatiable. And I'm really, really hoping that whoever can step in can take it that one step further that I think all of us are kind of looking for.
Yeah.
Truthfully. Yeah. So that might be stuck between what the consoles themselves are capable of. It could be budgeting. Maybe somebody who's newer to a position won't command as high a salary. I mean, if there's more resources available to pour into the game itself, as creators and as developers work their way up. I don't know, but this game is, even at its current state, is still just too damn good for me to worry about somebody else. Next man up, man. Coming from a sports mentality, coming from how I came up, next man up, or woman, next person.
Yeah.
Next individual. Yeah, I mean, and we don't know what the future of Destiny looks like. We don't know what comes after Season of Opulence, or how different whatever next iteration of Destiny we get is.
Yeah.
So change is necessary.
Yeah. And good luck to all of them.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like everybody left on good terms. And best luck to all of them. I look forward to playing anything that they're putting together, because if I see like Josh Hamrick's name, Wisniewski's, like Joe Blackburn's, Jill Shar's, if I see any of their names on anything, I'm gonna be like, yes, please. I'll gladly play that. Cheers.
Absolutely. All right. What do you say? Questions?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay.
Seems we got a few.
Yeah, we got a few pretty good ones in chat there.
RT Mayday asks, hey, retweet. Based on some of the missed opportunities of seasons past, what would you incorporate to the game in the future?
Man, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of a 50-50 on old content drop styles and trickle. I definitely remember getting burnt out on stuff to do with the big content drops, like Warmind and Curse of Osiris, and see the trickles have kept me going to some extent. So it's kind of hard, but I mean, obviously, time and resources are a thing. But if I could incorporate something, it would probably be like some sort of like vendor resets all around, not just in the tower. Like planetary reset and tower vendor resets, different gear sets for all of those guys, because planetary vendors have never gotten an update.
Right.
They're still selling the gear that they sold when Destiny 2 shipped.
Such a pain in the ass.
And tower vendors are still selling the gear that they brought with Forsaken. That was almost how many months ago?
About 6.
Yeah.
That would probably be the biggest change, because I mean, give me something to care about those vendors for. Give me a reason to go do lost sectors on Earth or do the Devrim bounties.
You created characters that were memorable.
Yeah.
Make us remember.
Felseek's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing character.
Make us go see them, please. In some regard.
There's too many vendors, man.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Between the tower and there's just too many. I don't mind the content trickle, but I want a bit more meat in the beginning.
Yes.
That we've gotten. And
For
then it can wean as it kind of moves on, but still have impact as it moves on. I just want something a bit heavier on the front end.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be sad if I never saw comp again.
Yeah.
If the competitive game mode itself disappeared, I don't think I'd complain too much about it. What's going on now within the community, so very little of it is actually people playing at their appropriate rank. Whether it's queue times being 8 years at high, or the demand and the supply of recovery accounts for X number of pinnacle rewards, to the point where I'm actually seeing statistics websites that we use for Destiny promoting the recovs and the packages for Mountaintop, Recluse, whatever.
Yeah.
It's hard for us to sit here and say what we want, because every time we've stated it and we've gotten it, we'd be like, this is bullshit.
This is not what we wanted.
So it's like, I want a calendar that's going to show us what's coming out, and I don't want it to be a mystery until the day that it launches. And I want an event to be an event, not a tuning of ARC subclasses that we're going to call an event, If we had known what the Revelry was, are we sure we would have not complained about it and maybe made to the point where we'd ask Bungie to change their mind or make changes to it?
Yeah.
So there's two sides to that coin, but just having a calendar saying this is what's going to happen on this day and not having any information about what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we move on, there's a comment in chat that I kind of want to address. So Radaka says that it's so lazy on Bungie's part. And here's the thing about that, Radaka. It's not laziness in any way, shape, or form. It's a matter of priority. There are things that Bungie has to focus on. First and foremost, typically is like balancing issues, making sure that things are, running smoothly with like some of the events or things like that. Aside from the work that they're doing for whatever future iteration of Destiny is, I'm sure that planetary vendors is probably like on the lowest things of importance to take care of. Go on.
It's also a thing of like, lately in gaming news, you have had like so many reports of like these games where they're like games as service, Fortnite, you got EA. Most of these things come with extreme crunch in that regard too. Mm-hmm. And so when it comes to manpower and treating people well, like if we're not getting as much as we'd like, because it would be a detriment to the well-being of the people that make it. I don't know, but I don't know. It's just something I've been thinking about lately. The more that I hear about studios having more and more crunch and less union type stuff, so
Yeah.
Yeah. A planetary refresh will be cool, but there were no planetary vendors in Destiny 1, right? Like, I didn't go to the moon and talk to somebody and they had a full set of armor and some weapons and whatnot. That wasn't a thing. We have that for every planet in this game right now, plus our normal tower vendors, plus the fact that there is blatantly and obviously a lack of creativity in the weapons department, period. Armor as well, we still have unfinished mod slots. We still have mods that probably shouldn't exist that just seem to be patchwork for a sinking ship. You know, like, for the love of God, a super mod seems like the worst idea that I could have possibly ever come up with to reward somebody with a performance-based cooldown for nothing, for just existing within the game space. So, like, there's so many other things that I would rather see happen before, because I'm already when we first played Destiny, when we first saw Destiny 2's cutscene way back in Destiny 1, and Cade 6 is like, there will be a ton of loot. He was right, and we delete all of it.
Yeah.
Like, they throw loot at us. I can't keep up with the crap I have to delete on a daily basis just from playing mindless Crucible for a few hours. There's just crap thrown at me. So I would take 3 vendors in the entire game and have just this star-studded loadout of equipment that they had versus what we currently have. But that, I mean, the framework was already laid down when we first started.
And what's a shame is that, like, a lot of that stuff too gets left behind very quickly as blues, instead of there being like a legendary counterpart.
Like, you talking about like a legendary botheration kind of thing, like a
like blue weapons that,
like the Aachen, which is a great sniper rifle, and the botheration, which is a really good shotgun.
Exactly. Well,
I don't know.
All right, next question.
So Radaka says, hey, what do you guys think is the next exotic that is coming up as free achievable? That kind of ties into Black Link's question of, we've still got an unknown exotic quest in our future. Rumors are it takes us to the old tower. Would you prefer the reward to be an exotic? And if so, what? Or would you prefer something new?
I don't know how much new juices are left at this point.
That's interesting, because coincidentally there is a quest step that's data mined, and again, typically stuff that's data mined, pinch of salt, just grain of salt, just hold that very lightly, because things change. That's supposedly we go back to the old tower, and ironically enough, the invitation of the 9 that for this week was called the tower. And unfortunately, because for some reason Vex weren't registering as kills, because again, you had to get kills in the Vex kills in the Tangled Shore, but there are no Vex in the Tangled Shore outside of the Warden of Nothing strike, but they aren't registering as kills in the Tangled Shore, so that invitation is not completable this week. Maybe it's one of the that's what we were supposed to see this week, but I don't know. I'd like to see something new. I'm kind of, I don't want to say done with them reprising exotics, but I'm all for the new, man.
I'm gonna call this. I'm gonna take my shot. I'm gonna call it. It's gonna be a Boolean Gemini. All you have to do is just go to the tower and it's just sitting right there. That's it.
Just load in.
Trip over as you walk up the front step. Yeah. Like your guardian lands and breaks their ankle. Like, oh god, who put this Boolean Gemini here?
Yeah, and
that thing was
everybody
so
in D2
big,
is
it
like,
probably would break a leg.
what the fuck is a scout rifle?
Dude, I don't even remember what that scout rifle did.
Give me a second, I can tell you.
I thought the Boolean Gemini did something where if you hit body shots, it increased
It
precision shot damage.
had like a toggle. Bonus
That's-
agility on precision kills stacks up to 3 times, or bonus armor on precision kills stacks up to 3 times.
Yeah, well, what you're talking about, Aura, is the Jade Rabbit.
Oh, okay.
That's the Fate of All Fools perk.
Yeah, so if it's Gjallarhorn to make rocket launchers relevant in Destiny 2,
It
Which
would
they
make
haven't
one rocket
been.
launcher relevant in Destiny 2.
which I mean, there's only like I couldn't even name you other rocket launchers other than like the Bad Omens curated role that had its time, or not even curated, the one that you got that had the
Bad Omens, Sins of the Past, Zenobia D.
Oh god, there's a Zenobia damn bad.
Two-tailed fox.
I would take Gjallarhorn. I would take that for a spin again. You know.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna cry about not having the Boltcaster for as long as Destiny is a franchise, forever and ever again. So
Yeah.
you guys keep asking us what exotics you want to see again. The Boltcaster. I want to see the Boltcaster.
Bad juju, 100%. Honey pea.
Bad juju.
You don't need a bad juju anymore with the Aham Skull Fort Kara bones thing that you put on the Warlock's face, where you Nova Bomb something, then you got your Nova Bomb. You don't even need it.
All right, Uncle Aura.
But he's not a warlock, though. He's a
What is he?
he's a hunter.
Hunter. Hi.
He's a backflipping
spectral
hunter.
blades.
Although your
Weapons.
days are counted, bud.
Oh, I've already started to pole dance. It's been pretty good.
Oh, you're pole dancing
I'm
now.
catching
Right,
on
yeah,
at
a lot
the-
of people
at the
moving to
club.
that.
It's pretty awesome.
Okay, that's fair.
Sparty asks, "You think we'll get a big DLC in September and are on track for 2020 D3?"
I think we'll definitely see a smaller sized Forsaken type of expansion. I think that's what we're gonna see after September. Because there's no way in hell, there's no way in hell we're getting a like Destiny 3 this year.
No.
I'm
not at
gonna
all.
no. I'm saying no. I don't think anything.
But
My
yeah.
answer is no to that question. No.
After Opulence, you don't think anything else is coming?
I think we're getting.
I'd like to say no and be like super incredibly pleasantly surprised,
Mhm.
and be like yes, and then nothing happened, and me be like,
Tempering those good old expectations.
I mean, what? Like, do you think this is Bungie going to continue Destiny 2, or is it in their best interests to do Destiny 3? And I mean, we're playing an unfinished game that's been unfinished since it launched. I just don't see pouring the resources in to finish it when it. I don't know that the state of the game or the quality of the game is going to get any better based off of those things.
Mhm.
Right? It's like we've got like chicken soup, but there's not any like real chicken in it right now. You know, we got the onions,
We have
got the
chicken
celery,
noodle
we got
soup
the
without
water.
the noodle.
Right. So what I'm kind of hoping for is that Bungie, with their own opportunity to drive their own ship, is like, everybody all aboard. You know, all aboard. Let's start really focusing on what we want to make as a product versus what we're kind of told or governed.
I think we see another. I think we see another seasonal pass.
Another annual pass.
Yeah, we see another
A
annual
third year of
pass.
Destiny 3 or Destiny 2. I mean,
I do not see them really stretching past it. I see because right now we're looking at the next console generation, probably October or November last year. I keep saying this. I think we're gonna see like October or November next year. We have the next console generation come out. I could see Destiny not coming out next September, but
so not September 2019.
As soon as the next consoles launch.
So not summer this year, or not September this year.
Right.
You're saying
Next
September
year,
the following
2020.
Right, 2020. Yeah, because I mean that falls in line where the next generation of consoles should be rolling around.
Yeah.
Which I agree. Again, I don't think we're gonna be seeing a Destiny 3 for the next, I don't know, year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, I at least have a feeling that we will see something
Yeah.
bigger after Season of Opulence, because I just can't see them
But when?
drop Season of Opulence.
December? Kind of like around when Crota would come out?
September. Remember, a Season of Opulence starts in June.
And like,
Yeah.
in a little
and it
while.
runs up until September.
Right.
So I think we're probably going to see a I don't want to say maybe Rise of Iron sized
Yeah.
bit of
But
content.
that's big. Rise of Iron was not a small.
It wasn't that entirely big.
I feel like it wasn't microscopic either. Like I feel like it was maybe because everything hit all at once. But like, and all I have in the back of my mind is the damn Season of the Forge or Season of the Drifter that I didn't partake in. But Rise of Iron to me felt bigger than Season of the Forge with all of its content combined. It felt bigger to me.
Yeah,
that's what I'm comparing it to.
Seasons,
that's what when I say, you know.
But again, I'm not comparing Rise of Iron to the Seasons though, because Seasons I don't consider them a proper DLC. As we've come to know them, I definitely will see something like Rise of Iron in September. Because I mean, I don't know. I can't see them completely abandoning D2 and just not pushing anything out until whenever Destiny 3 drops.
I don't think we'll see that either, but I don't know. They have a lot of room to surprise us.
Yeah.
Like what Grace said in chat, we'll definitely find out at E3 what they plan for this year.
Yes.
Like
we might even
June? Yeah? Mid-June?
I think so.
So
yeah.
That's when we found out about good old Forsaken. So
yeah. But it's interesting though because they're no longer tied with Sony, so they shouldn't be in the Sony's presentation
at all.
No, they don't. They're a free agent.
Yeah, that's what makes me.
Because I mean, I was just referring to that because they were tied to Sony through Activision, so they're free from that chain now.
Yeah, they're free from that chain. They're free from.
Are they free from that?
For themselves.
Or are they still under that until Season of Opulence is over?
Season of Opulence hits, and that's the last bit of Activision that we're gonna see.
So is that the beginning of June?
Yes.
So then E3 being middle of June, that's after. So that could be the first real glimpse of what Bungie has.
Yeah.
So I think I understand the timeline now.
Yeah, and that's also another thing. Grace does mention that Sony doesn't have any presence at E3 this year either. They don't have a conference or whatever.
They'll do their state of play, and probably a week beforehand, and be like, "Hey guys, look at this new console that we're gonna do. We're not gonna be there to show you any of it, but bye." And then they're just gonna zoom out into space. It's gonna be real weird.
For sure.
So it goes. Did you hear about who's taken the Sony spot?
No.
Square Enix.
Really? I wonder if they're gonna finally talk about the remake that they've been working on for God knows how long.
Or that Avengers game that they reviewed.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They are working on that.
Anyways, back to questions.
I think
looks like this is the last one. Jebby.
That was the last one.
Jebby 13 asks, question, what's your take on the person they brought in for the PvP side of Destiny being a top tier player? Who did they bring in?
They brought in Change, who was the game's leader of gold medals. So I know Change through Benny Schmurder, who's just an absolute monster of a player. They used to play a lot together. Change had something like 3,000 plus gold medals. Which is We Ran's Ghost medals. There's a slew of other ones that count. Change is, to say he's an insane player is an understatement. Change is unreal in terms of a player. They brought him in and this is all, he's under NDA, so he can't talk about his actual role. But they brought him in as a consultant, and I feel like this is similar to what
Holtzman
had done, right?
Yeah.
And this isn't a knock on anybody they brought in for advisory roles, but the best players in the world rarely have the best input for an environment in which a game should kind of like, evolve within. The only thing that I get from it is patches and weapons that, like the Recluse or that they now initially ship Luna's Howl Not Forgotten, will go through insanely capable hands before they make it to market, essentially. Right? And if there is something broken about that weapon, Change is going to find it.
Yeah.
And he'll find it immediately. So we'll see. Nobody's ever going to please the PvP community. We're never going to be like, well, this is great, man. Come give me a hug. Like, no. We're always going to be talking shit. There's always going to be teabagging. There's always going to be animosity and hostility because we're so damn passionate about this game because it's such a good shooter.
Yeah.
Right? But I don't see how it could be a bad thing having a capable player's hand. And that's not to say that people who Bungie are not good players. We all watched some of the Gambit Prime matches and saw some of the invasion plays that were made by some of the people that I'd never heard of before. So it's not like the people at Bungie don't have any way to
skill.
Don't have any knowledge of play in the game, right? But I think a lot of it goes back to some of, like, even in Destiny 1 when they released some of the new maps, right? And they displayed some of the new PvP maps, and some of the players that they chose to display were not the best players anybody's ever seen, and of course the really, really, really highly skilled players in chat, which everybody in chat's like a 20 million elo player with a 80 million KD never dies at all. So all of those players had all kinds of things to say about the people on the Bungie staff, and now they're not going to be able to say that because Change will literally be able to beat any one of them. It's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems fine to me. Like, if there's anything, I don't know, when it's this fear, when it's like people, when you're being acknowledged, I don't even know where I'm going. But no, but like to have that skill and to be acknowledged by the company for the game that you're playing it is awesome.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing like any changes that come from it, but you see this all the time with them bringing people in for summits, and it's usually like it's different tiers of players. It's not always like top streamers like Glad or Broman or anything like that. It's like occasionally they bring people in on the side, Yeah. And maybe that's not as publicized, but like it's it helps make the game better. It helps build the community, and if anything, good on him for getting a job in the gaming industry, for playing video games. It's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
Just disclaimer, the person who they brought in, his BattleNet, his name in the community is Change. So when we're talking about change happening,
can you believe in him?
He's like a person.
Okay.
Like he's an actual person. But yeah, I mean, like Bungie brought in what was it, Lulu, Ninja, Glad, went to kind of preview. We think it was to preview what was coming with Season of Opulence, because they are very well known PvE players who can
Raiders and stuff. Yeah.
Raiders and stuff who can figure out mechanics and find ways to get through certain challenges within the game. And listen, Lulu's an incredible PvP player too.
Yeah.
She's just a good player, period. But they were only brought in as like a preview. Like Change is staff now. Like he's a Bungie employee.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit different than bringing in content creators on the side or just players in general just to play test things. Like Change is now an advisor. I don't recall if he's even able to talk about how long the contract is.
I think he's
virtually silent on.
It's at least 6 months.
Right. He's been pretty silent on social media about it. No one knew that he was even talking to Bungie, from what I understand, until it was, so.
Too late.
Well, not too late, but
I kid.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'm invested enough in PvP to have a proper opinion on what, changes should be made or whatever, but it's good for him.
Rad.
Yeah.
Sounds good. I think that's the last question. I think that leads us to who we are, I believe.
All right. Before we go though, Aura, I want you to go first, and I want you to tell our lovely people here in chat the charity that you're running.
Hey, everybody in chat. My name is Ara, and 4 years ago, I started a charity event called Gaming for Pits, raising money for Villalobos Rescue Center, the largest pit bull rescue in the United States. There's a brown puffball right about here. That's my pit bull, Layla. We broadcast together. She's been a part of my streaming career since the very day that I started. So the charity event that we do raises money for other rescues, animal rescues out there, specifically Villalobos Rescue Center, which was also on Animal Planet's hit TV show, Pit Bulls and Parolees. So as of right now, we have raised $16,000.
Hell yeah.
For animal rescue over the course of 3 days. Thank you, of course, to Danfinity for his contributions in the charity event as a broadcaster for it. We're just out here trying to save animals, because Layla, the brown puffball right there, she was on death row. She was a pit bull that had no home, that was going to be put down if she wasn't rescued, and she is the most incredible, life-loving, happy dog I've ever met in my entire life. She's just happy to be here. It's like she knew that she was on death row, and there's more Laylas out there right now. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to raise money for that. The charity event wraps up on the 29th. Our overall goal for the charity is $30,000. We're a little bit over halfway through the event at $16K. And Dan shaved his beard as a donation goal.
Don't worry, it's growing back.
Mine's next, I guess. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Let's talk about that tomorrow.
Beautiful.
Oh, man.
Dan.
Hi.
Where you at, bud?
Hi, I'm Danfinity. I'm freshly shorn because of Gaming for Pits. Aura, before I move any further, how much does it take to run Villalobos Pit Rescue a day?
It costs Villalobos $10,000 a day to operate, which is up from $8,000 last year.
So you're looking to run it for 3 days total, yes?
I was trying to run it for 3 days total. The other thing about it is every dog that they rescue has heartworm. It costs $500 per dog to treat for heartworm. Just the condition of the dogs that they rescue, I couldn't do it. So we're just out here trying to do and fuel those who are strong enough. Because I'm not. If I was in animal rescue, I would break down and cry. I would quit. So this is to help support those who are strong enough to fight that fight. Because I'll tell you what, man, there is nothing worse than coming across an animal that's been abused, beaten, neglected, dumped, tied to a fence, dumped into a field. That's a special kind of person who can look that in the eye every single day and come back to work the next day. So I'm out here just trying to do what we can to kind of help them fight that fight.
My name is Danfinity. I'm freshly shorn. I have a habanero pepper somewhere in my bowels because this man.
I didn't make him. I didn't make his donation.
He didn't force me to do it. I did it to myself. But anyways, so yeah, tomorrow. I don't have any incentives left, pretty much, because put my big ones on the table.
You got that hair on your head, dude.
I can't. But
I've given enough, man.
But I'll be running tomorrow morning, from 8 to noon. To help raise more money for Gaming for Pits on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Danfinity. Hi. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Danfinity, but the I's are L's. Also, if you are in the Indianapolis area or the Midwest and you're like, I like to play video games, and there's other people in the Midwest and Indiana that say, I like to play video games too. We're going to be meeting up at Tapper's Arcade in Fountain Square, that's in Indianapolis, at 7 p.m. on Saturday. DM me if you're planning on coming. Would love to see you, would love to shake your hand. It depends on how well I know you. Maybe I'll touch your butt. Anyways, that's pretty much it from me.
Beautiful. And you can find me pretty much at Nimplays everywhere. That's it. That's a show. That's a wrap.
That's a show.
That's a show. Thank you guys for hanging out on episode 197 of the Planet Destiny podcast. And we will see you all next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.